welcome everybody. I think we'll kick off this Waste Reduction and Recycling Committee at 6:04. I'm going to share my screen quick. All right, so this is our fairly basic agenda for tonight. It's sorted on my end here. So thank you everybody for meeting up and getting back to this. I know we had a bit of a break, but dive back in. So I'll read the notice to start. Notice to meeting attendees. Please note the Waste Reduction Recycling Committee will hold a regular board meeting at 6 p.m. using the Zoom ID above. A copy of the Grafton public meeting remote participation guidelines are available on the town website for reference, and anybody can access those at any time. I don't know if we have to do an official roll call for this, but couldn't hurt. So Jefferson here.
Reno here.
Gallagher here.
Mara McCormack here.
All right, awesome. So first step, we gotta reorganize and fill the chair role. I don't know if we want to, shuffle everybody up with, Maura being vice chair and Sherilyn being clerk. If you want to move up to chair and vice, and we elect a new clerk, or however everybody wants to handle that, I'll just leave it open for group decision, and somebody can make a motion.
I'm fine either way, so I can say vice chair if anybody wants to step up and be chair. Otherwise, it's open. I guess I can be the chair. I can do that. You can figure out how to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to you. Like, any questions on moving the meeting through? I definitely have a lot more experience in them now over the last couple of months, having some select board time under the belt. So sure. I nominate Maura McCormack as chair.
Okay.
I second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any discussion? Well, because we are Zoom, we'll do roll call votes. Kevin?
In favor.
Okay. Maura?
Aye.
Carolyn?
Aye.
Jefferson, aye. So congratulations, Maura. You are
All right. Thank you. I'll figure this out. I've never chaired anything before, so bear with me, I guess.
So now we'll have to reorganize and fill the vice chair spot, and unless if Sherilyn wants to move up, we'll fill the clerk spots to everybody else.
I am happy to move up if someone wants to nominate me.
Sure. I nominate Sherilyn Reno as vice chair.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? Okay. So you can do a roll call vote then. Kevin?
Aye.
Maura?
Aye.
And Sherilyn?
Aye.
Jefferson, aye. So congratulations, you are the new vice chair. That just leaves the both of us. Kevin, you want to do some writing, or you want me to handle that?
You don't want me doing any writing.
All right. I'll move Andy Jefferson be the clerk.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any discussion? All right, we can do a roll call vote then. Kevin?
Kevin, aye.
Maura?
Aye.
Carolyn?
Aye.
And Jefferson, aye. All right, thank you. So yeah, Maura, do you want to take over and go through the rest of the agenda? I mean, I don't want you to feel like this was sprung on you. Certainly was something that I assembled, but
Yeah.
welcome to defer over and you can continue from here.
Well, it's been a long time since our last meeting, obviously. Next thing on the thing is to review updates. I'm not really sure where to start with that. It's been a while. I think last time we wanted to talk to EL James about how to get our recycling up to par, up to like that, what is it, 90% threshold, if that was possible. But I guess now they're owned by someone else. So there was some confusion as to how to get that all set up. So I don't know where that got left off. So I think she was dealing with that one.
Yeah, I think
They are owned by a new company.
Okay.
But they have kept the Harvey name, and the transition has been seamless.
Oh, good.
There hasn't been any hiccups or anything. Most of the employees that I have been dealing with the day-to-day operations, with our recycling pickup and our curbside and everything, they've all stayed the same. And I've had zero complaints. As far as the town is concerned, it's just almost been like a paperwork thing. So just because, it's changed in that aspect, when it comes down to the nitty gritty, we're still getting the same performance.
Right.
So, and that's the important thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It just I do want to meet with them still. I just have no idea now who, like, do you know who we would go through to do that? Or do I need to call random people?
That part, in before, what used to happen was, our recycling used to get emptied from the highway department on Monday mornings, and I used to have to call and be like, okay, our 4 cans are ready to get emptied. But one of the mornings I called and I was like, do you guys have just like an automatic scheduled thing? Because all of them have to get emptied every Monday at the same time. They were like, yeah, why aren't you just on a schedule? I was like, you tell me. And so now I haven't spoken to anybody there since the last time we have spoken. So I know nobody on the other end, on the phone over there. So I wouldn't even know where to start.
Okay, so I guess we're all on the same page.
Okay, right.
I'd probably reach out to Doreen and
Oh
see,
yeah, probably a good idea.
like, who her contact was and use that as a point.
All right, yeah, I can do that. I can send her an email. Pretty sure I still, yeah, I should still have it.
I didn't have any, I didn't have many notes. It's not that I had none from our last meeting, but yeah, that was pretty much what I had, was that we were going to discuss the current removal numbers, how many people utilize the service in town, brainstorm some programs to research and possibly some new disposal options, and then try and get some tasks assigned out from there, but never really gone through many of those things. So and I'm not saying that we necessarily need to start them tonight, but I think it's a good idea to get them on the radar and get everybody to start thinking about them again.
We should probably list those out and put them on ours as a discussion item for next week. Or next, oh yeah, that's another thing we need to figure out, right? What is our meeting schedule gonna be?
Yep.
That's also should be pinned down here. But so for now, I think we should put that to the next meeting. We'll have that on the list of things that we need to think about. And I'll reach out to Doreen and try to see if I can figure out how to set up a meeting with them to go over the numbers. And see if I can figure out how to get the bills and stuff. Look at them myself.
You guys are looking to see what our bills are?
Well, I kind of want to read the contract. If I don't know if you'd have that.
I could definitely know what, I definitely sign the bills every week. And you guys will have a mild coronary when you see how much they are. That I can give you I can just jot down what they are, you know, from here on out until our next meeting, just to give you an idea of what the tipping fees are and what we're paying for the curbside
Yeah.
until the next time we sit down. Definitely.
That sounds like a good plan.
Sure. No problem.
Yeah.
I have 9 million things around me right now, and not one of them is something I can write something down with. But I have a note card.
We might want to start a conversation with Evan too. You know, he might have a contact over at Harvey, or, you know, before we bring them in, maybe it's something that he could discuss our current contract and, you know, maybe the way he sees things heading, you know, and do as much as he can to catch us up in that regard before we schedule the meeting with Harvey too.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Do we have a record of how our compliance for recycling? Do we have where, like, do we know how we can get a hold of those numbers?
I do that as well.
Okay.
Anything else, or do we want to move on to start discussion on the goals, objectives, and reviewing our charge?
I'm alright with moving on.
Okay. I did grab a copy of our charge because it's been a while and it's probably a good time to refresh.
I don't see anything I want to change on it.
That one's pretty.
But maybe adding more members at large. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, so I figured we'd get into that discussion afterwards because
Okay.
Sherilyn mentioned we did have some discussion at the select board meeting last night about another committee that was proposed. So I think it's worth discussing during this meeting.
adding another member? Or
Yeah,
voting for another member.
there was kind of a lot.
It was what, 25 minutes, I think, worth of discussion.
Yeah, it was quite a bit of discussion.
Yeah, I
So
guess we need to go back and watch that.
we can hop into that and, just go through that quick. So Anne Marie Foley suggested, an environmental sustainability committee. There was, and she wrote up a brief charge and some of the responsibilities. Some of it seemed to overlap with some of the goals that we have here. She was less interested in, I think, increasing our, decreasing, I guess, our waste contamination percentages for recycling and trying to get, do better there. More so with the possibility of adding town composting or, other creative solutions, but then going beyond that and discussing, Grafton's carbon footprint and how we reduce those numbers, very like top level things. So there was a good deal of discussion around it. It seemed like, maybe some mixed feelings as to the usefulness, but we are Anne Marie's gonna, refine that down and we're gonna discuss it further at another upcoming meeting. A couple of the suggestions that were floated by other board members were expanding the charge of waste reduction and recycling committee. So it included some of the things that she was discussing. Or I shouldn't just say or, expanding our membership. We could go up to 7, we're at 5, so we could go up to a 7, we could go up to a 9. It's really our own thing to decide. Anne Marie said that she has people who reach out to her fairly regularly. I think, either one-on-one or through the Green Up Grafton group with enthusiasm towards, making some of these updates in town and some things that we could generally keep our eye on. So, kind of noting that and always wanting to include people that are passionate about these things. I think it's a worthwhile idea to, expand our membership and maybe get some more people in here. I think everybody generally brings in their own little area of expertise. So if we can expand that and cover more bases, I'm in favor of it. But, again, that's something for the group to decide and see how they feel about that and, kind of go from there. There was discussion, trying to see where it is on here. Make recommendations to the select board, develop and implement educational tools, present recommendations to the select board regarding cost saving methods, best practices, etc. So, I got the impression that they're going to want to meet with us soon to discuss some of those things. They did understand that, the scenario, that we lost Doreen when she chose not to, well, first the death in the family at Harvey's that delayed our initial meeting with them. Then running into election season and Doreen choosing not to run. And then, just I think everybody kind of being busy in the interim after that. So there's some understanding there, but I think they definitely want to see us start to, set some goals and make some traction. So just something to consider as we discuss that moving forward too.
Right. If I remember correctly, the composting, trying to get something like that going was something we talked about in one of our meetings. So I actually think that's a great idea. I know we looked into Black Earth, I think, a little bit, and I actually went to their website, and they do actually have a municipal option. And there are now a whole bunch of different companies offering that. So they probably also have municipal. And I think I saw that the state also has money available for the cities to transition to a composting to whomever
We did.
they choose. So it's something we could definitely do.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know
This
that it was like specifically the grant that you were talking about, but we did receive, the town did receive a grant recently. And that was another thing that maybe 2 months ago, we discussed at the select board. Not so much like expanding the townwide composting, but that we could buy the composting starter kits in bulk as opposed to in smaller quantities. So we get a better rate. And we also had grant money to do so. So we'd have some, some of those starter kits in storage whenever anybody asked for them.
We do.
Yeah, so it's something that we've taken another step towards, but we have, I can't remember the name of the company offhand, and now I'm wishing I had thought of it myself. Good pull on that one, Maura. But there was another company that reached out about setting up a municipal recycling program as well. I'll make a note and hopefully go back and find that. Have it ready for the next meeting.
It's just something like I want to throw in here that everybody's got to keep in mind. Being on the receiving end of trash, composting, what have you, the mindset of people recycling, bringing things up to the highway garage, bringing things to our brush dump, they don't care. As long as it's out of their vehicle and nobody's looking, out of sight, out of mind. If nobody is staring at what they're pulling out of their vehicle, it's tires, it's used oil, it's paint, it's metal, and they'll disguise it. It's a constant babysitting job. And I love all of these ideas of running these programs and everything, but we can't rely on people being honest. It's not practical and it's not going to happen. I've been doing this a long time, and the things that we pull out of that brush dump and out of these recycling dumpsters and out of our shed that's supposed to have the light bulbs, the batteries, it is mind-boggling. And we just have to keep in mind that if these programs are started, staff needs to be implemented to babysit it, and it needs to be secure overnight. Because as soon as that location is in place, now people see that as a dumping ground. So what happens is, I'm at that highway garage at 4:45 every morning, and the first 20 minutes is me picking up things in front of my gate that people drive by, throw out, and it's terrible. It's terrible. As long as it's out of their car, they don't care. There's a small fraction in this town that cares and actually wants to do the right thing. The majority, if it's out of their house, doesn't matter. And that's just the facts. And even talking to my I have a very good relationship with Pat, our trash collector that works for Harvey's. We have the recycle bins, the big recycle bins that you roll out to the street. They're supposed to be recycle items that are in there. No way. People are putting their trash in there and whatever. And the way that that's dumped, it's behind the driver of the truck. And by the time that bin is up and the stuff is being dumped out, it's already too late. And that driver is not going to go open up the lid look inside and be like, I'm going to refuse this one. I'm going to refuse this one. You know, it's a slippery slope. It's a lot of work if these things are going to fall in place, and it requires man hours and or people hours, sorry. And if people are assuming that's going to fall on, you know, DPW staff or town workers, it's impossible. Like, we are already so short-staffed. It's bananas. You know, I am all for, you know, doing everything I can to help out and offer whatever services I can, but there also is the facts. And this is just how it is. This is the world we live in. And these are the people that live in this town. And a lot of it too are people that see those dumpsters that are that close to the road. They're not even from this town. And they'll just pitch the stuff in. And they're coming in on days that the recycle center isn't open. And, you know, I only have time to have the volunteers from the senior center to watch it twice a week. And I gotta have that front gate open so our staff can get in and out, but people are sneaking in all the time, and we try to catch people when we can. But the things we're pulling out of there, it's unbelievable. So, moral of the story is we're gonna need a lot of help and eyeballs. That's all. It's not just getting a program going with composting, and they're all great ideas. We just need the people behind it to babysit it. Sorry to be long-winded.
No, I mean, that is reality of the situation. And how I think we get a lot of the contamination. Some of the, you know, waste disposal companies that we've done marketing for in the past call that wish cycling. You know, they're the people who are intentionally trying to be deceptive and, you know, put stuff inside a cardboard box that they don't want you to see, that they're just trying to get rid of. But then there are the other people who do want to be helpful, but include items that shouldn't be in your single stream, you know, bin roadside. You know, like, oh, this lamp is metal, I can just throw that in there. And no, that's not how that works. You know, so yeah. Honestly, that type of, I think, outreach and education was something that I had discussed when I applied for the committee, because I feel like that's a strength that I can, you know, help bring to this committee and hopefully help with. So not to do my brainstorming assignment too early, but for me, outreach is one of those things. And I think it's a small step that we could start with. I would think the town Facebook page might be a reasonable place to attack that. You know, I don't know, like, is there decent signage at the DPW for sorting?
Oh yeah. Oh yes, absolutely. That's all there is signs, but people don't look at them.
Right.
Should write an op-ed in the newspaper.
Yeah, getting those things any place that we can. So honestly, I also got a call from Roger Trahan, I think last week, and he suggested something that I had like jokingly thought of as well, maybe even doing like a GCTV series where we discuss good recycling practices and stuff, or doing like
The
a
game
recycling.
show.
Yeah, like a recycling bin audit where somebody brings in their recyclables and you go through and, you know, kind of grade them. Like, okay,
Yeah.
you know, this these things shouldn't be in here and educate people as to why, and, you know, things that other things that we could push out through the town's YouTube channel or, you know, social channels, whatever we have available to us. And hopefully, you know, I think those are small steps that we could take, attainable, you know, and soon, as opposed to some of our long-term goals.
Absolutely. Anything, any type of education can help. But there are going to be the snakes
Oh, yeah.
every time.
We have time to maybe set up an educational thing for Earth Day. Just an excuse to get people out sorting, recycling, learning stuff. I don't know.
Everybody that's at Earth Day is already in the know and is all about it.
It's true.
You
But a
know,
lot of them are still wish cycling. They might throw something in and not realize that it doesn't belong in there. Some people
True.
think, a lot of people think they know what belongs in there and they don't realize it. Like I am constantly pulling stuff out of my own recycling bin. They're like, nope, that's not supposed to be in here. That's not supposed to be in here. Like even people who are like constantly like, hey, you need to remember what's going on. Sometimes they're like, are you sure that doesn't belong in there? Like, yeah, I'm telling you. Let me show the paperwork. Like the amount of times I've had to explain to somebody and I've had them be like, are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. So it might be a good idea to get those people a refresher course, to be honest. They're like, you guys aren't paying attention. You think you are, but you're not, you know. At least those people will be reachable. Like you said, there's a whole bunch of people who don't care. I don't know if we can ever, I don't know how much we can do about that.
right.
I think you put accurate information out there and you hope for the best. And, you know, hope, and, you know, we can, even us as citizens can help impact that, you know, at a personal level. If it was something that we started doing that, again, I'm just going to use, you know, social channels as an example. If we could get the town to start posting things through social, we can share those out on our personal pages and, you know, hopefully proceed to engage people further that way, you know, because you never know when you share something, if somebody else ends up sharing it, and, you know, they're again, small, I think, easy steps that we could attempt.
You got to start somewhere, right?
I think there are probably some flyers we could get the town to just put up, like flyers that like the Mass DEP, whatever, already has. We would just be like, hey, send this out. And then Green Up Grafton might cover it, or like earlier, like you said.
Yeah, it's funny. My one of my good friends in New Hampshire, he has a transfer station he lives in Madison, New Hampshire, and the whole time, I mean, mind you, it's a quarter of the size of Grafton, but they run that place like a military operation. There are like 7 guys there, and they're above each dumpster, and they are physically watching what is going in each thing. I have never seen anything like it. It was amazing. I went with him one time, and I was like, I just want to see how this is done. And even the barrels that are in his garage are all, and I'm looking in them, I'm like, dude, you're a little OCD here, huh? And he's like, oh yeah, wait till you see what's on the other end. And sure enough, I mean, I guess, you know, people can be trained, you know, like, but
Like you said,
like they get screamed at, you know, like, get in there, get that, you know, like, oh my God, you know, like, so, I don't know.
well, I don't think anybody's going to argue if we put you outside. Nobody's going to yell at Kevin.
Except for my mother.
Rightfully so.
You're right.
Okay. So for next meeting, we're gonna try, for our goals and objectives, we'll try and do some brainstorming of ideas and things we could at least start to explore, or programs we could think to implement, things like that. Do you want me to go back to the charge at all before we move on, just to make sure everybody's cool with the way it's currently written? Or, do you already know that you're okay with it from when we reviewed it a few minutes ago? I just want to make sure we're all on that same baseline and starting from the same point.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything I wanted to change.
Okay.
No.
I'm just gonna make a note because as I'm thinking about this now, where it says they want reports and presentations for the board on an annual basis. I'm gonna ask the chair if there's anything in particular they're hoping to see or expecting to see in a presentation from us, just to make sure that we have our I's dotted. And I'll try and report back on that for the next meeting. I mean, I say that, I know she's the only person in attendance right now, so she has the answer to that and knows that I'm going to be asking her, but for the record, we'll do it the formal way.
So what you're saying is we should all wave hi to Colleen now?
Again, if you like. Okay, I'll switch us back over to the agenda quick. Sherilyn, did you have a chance to do, we had one set of meeting minutes from our January 12th meeting that hadn't been posted to the town site.
Yeah, the status of that set of meeting minutes is very rough draft. And I kept trying to get the recording of the meeting so that I could actually flesh it out. And I asked Doreen a couple of times, who do I need to ask? And got no response from her.
Okay.
I don't,
Are we not on YouTube?
What was that?
Are we not on YouTube?
I don't know.
I've never been able to find our meetings on YouTube, and I don't know who keeps the Zoom recordings that don't make it onto YouTube.
Okay.
I can find out.
But yeah, I mean, I spent a couple months waiting for it to come up on YouTube before I started pestering Doreen, but it was no, I mean, I was checking every time somebody else's meeting came up, I would see if ours was there, and no.
Okay.
Okay, I will check into that so we can get that done for the next meeting. Anything else anybody wanted to discuss?
Should we try to set a date for the next meeting?
Yes,
Yeah.
we should do that. I don't remember if we had, I think we had picked Wednesdays, but I don't remember if so Sherilyn, you said you couldn't do the first Wednesday of the month. Do we want to try and do like the second Wednesday of each month? Do we want to meet more frequently than that?
I think once a month should be all right.
Yeah. And the
Second
Wednesday-
Wednesday should be fine.
Yeah.
I will say that the second Wednesday of October, I will be at a professional conference.
Oh,
So depending on, I mean, it doesn't go late into the evening, depending on what time the meeting was. I could probably dial in from there, but I can't promise that.
Okay. That's another question too. I did ask for 6 tonight because there's a finance committee meeting I'm trying to attend at 7. Does anybody have a preference between those two? 6 or 7 for our traditional meeting times? I think they were 7 before, but I don't remember.
I actually prefer 7 since I have dinner to get on the table for my family.
Yeah.
I appreciate everybody meeting at 6 tonight. I know that wasn't ideal. Thank you for accommodating it.
Does the second Wednesday give you time to do the Finster meetings, or are you just doing it tonight?
I'm just doing it tonight.
Oh, okay.
Normally, select board meets on Tuesdays, so I'm clear on Wednesday now.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay, I get it.
Okay, so this, as noted, the second Wednesday in October is the 12th, if we want to do that. And then in November, it's the 9th.
Sound fine to me.
All right.
Yeah, the 9th is definitely fine. The 12th will depend on how late the evening session goes, which I don't know. That's the very opening night of the conference.
Okay.
12th and the 9th. And I'm sorry, 6 or 7?
7.
7.
All right, cool. If everybody's all set, I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
I just have a question. If we could solidify what we're doing for next week, no, the next month. Do we each want to pick a project, or we want to come to the table with just a brainstorm?
Well, I know I'm gonna be submitting what my weekly charges for the curbside pickups are for the recycling up at the garage weekly is. And if I don't know if I'm gonna have any pickups for our fluorescent light bulbs and the battery charges. But what I'll do is I'll just jump back and find out what our previous 2 or 3 pickups were, just to give you an idea of what those were.
Okay. I'll come with the printout, well, with the paper, the flyers from the municipal composting stuff to see if that's workable.
Okay,
I can do some brainstorming about outreach.
Okay.
yeah, I was going to, I second trying to figure out outreach materials.
Cool.
Education is kind of like one of my hats
Yeah,
that I wear in my real life, so.
I'll think about that too, outreach.
Yeah, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing to double up on as we get into it, you know. Again, I don't want to oversimplify or tip my hand, but so much of that can be so ideas for how you handle the outreach obviously can be different, but you can do a lot of borrowing from what other communities and stuff do and grabbing tips and whatnot from other community social feeds. So yeah, I think there's a lot of open end to that we could discuss next time.
Okay.
One thing that we could, as a committee, we might try to boost out socially is Troop 106 that meets at St. Mary's Parish.
Yep.
Is having a textile and scrap metal drive on September 24th, I think. It's the last Saturday in September.
That is correct.
And that would be an excellent thing if we can get the town to help promote that. as much as possible, because those are things that people are putting in the wrong place a lot of the time, just because they don't know where the right place is.
Yep.
In fact, I have a Christmas tree stand and a whole bunch of stuff that's in a pile in my garage waiting for somebody to have a scrap metal drive.
Couple weeks.
Yep.
I was just talking to my kids today because they're both in Troop 106, trying to figure out which segment of that recycling day they're going to sign up for to help volunteer and do all that stuff. So I did plan to promote that through my select book page anyways, just to get it out there. But yeah, I think we can see if, I don't know if they have a policy, if the town has a policy on, whether they share, like it's the Boy Scouts. So I would think as long as they did it, equitably, and if 107 was doing a sharing drive, they shared their info as well. And same for 2019. I don't see why we couldn't, but I can reach out to Evan and William and see if there's a policy about that, and if we could get something.
Okay.
I don't see that why it would be any different than the churches that do the electronics drives.
Yeah. Yeah. And those are good ones for us to amplify as well, because those are always well attended. The styrofoam recycling, they're always, I think, in need. So
that's another one of the many signs we have up at the highway garages. People are always looking to get rid of styrofoam, and polyfoam that's over in Northbridge takes styrofoam. You just got to go over there and drop it off.
Yep.
And they recycle that stuff. So
yeah, good idea, Sean.
It looks like Andy has 9 minutes to get to his other meetings. So
I don't have to be there right at 7. They have stuff to discuss to kick it off. So
Well, I don't know if we have too much more to say tonight, though. So if we can make a motion to adjourn, unless somebody...
before we do that, I didn't see in the QA, as everybody said hi to Colleen, if we could also say hi to our son Hunter, who's watching now as well. I'm sure we appreciate that. So
hi, Hunter.
Hi.
And with that, yes, I make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Nope. By roll call, Kevin,
aye.
Maura,
Aye.
Carolyn,
Hi.
Jefferson, I declare the meeting adjourned. Thank
And
you,
it's 6:52.